can hear music now. Sweet, okay. Take on some. Cool, that's sorted. So welcome. So we'll be telling the story of Gelert the Loyal Hound today. Music is by Kevin MacLeod in the background. Doing this while I do some watercolour, so you have something visual. So hopefully you've got your cup of teas, you have all that you need necessary. Let me just get my watercolours ready and my brushes. And what we'll probably end up doing is about a quarter of an hour or so of, let me just find my brushes, of the story. Then I'll stop for a little bit, see if any is in chat. And yeah, so my water. Got some watercolour. And we will be transported back to roughly Middle Ages. This is a lot of my own, so about start of 1000s. Is that Middle Ages? I believe it's medieval. So Llywelyn reigned between 1216 and 1240, which I believe is, I would class that personally as medieval. I will look this up personally. I am it now. I'll say medieval. It's quite a few centuries ago. Oh no, yes, yeah, I was right, medieval. Medieval was up to 1453 AD. So our tale takes place in the heart of the north of Wales, where Llywelyn the Great had a castle near Beddgelert, which I believe, after doing some research, is near Dinas Emrys, rather than Beddgelert. This is a lot off of my own memory. So I did more semi-story, so semi-chatting. So this is more my own story, and I'm going to probably go off while I try and figure out what I'm doing my colours as well. But more, I haven't been to Beddgelert. I believe this is a staple for I believe this staple of North Wales schools to go to Beddgelert, I would say, very happily. Very fond memories of like little trips to like fun-ons. I mean, it's Welsh and Welsh, which is like, I probably will be speaking in both Welsh and English because I'm gonna probably go into the habit of doing that. And also, this is the first time I'm doing this, so excuse if I exit both or if I get things wrong. I'll probably like edit it after and I'll put it in the chat, so to speak. So I remember, I think I went there with my 9, which is grandma in Welsh, and my aunties, and Beddgelert is a beautiful place if you can visit. And I remember walking along the river. But if I remember, I'll look this up and post some more details of it. But I believe that Beddgelert isn't the right place of Gelert's grave, which is what Beddgelert means in Welsh. And I don't know if that's in the story, but personally to me, this is a very I would say, along with Ffrydio, one of the most well-known Welsh stories. That's like a personal opinion. But I would say this is the one that most people know of, even if you might not speak Welsh. But I would say this is the easiest and the most well-known. And I'm probably going to talk off tangents a lot. So, Llywelyn was a keen hunter, and the last Prince of Wales is known as Llywelyn the Great. He mainly ruled the north of Wales, which includes Gwynedd, Wrexham, that sort of area. I believe some Ceredigion as well. And then he was this is like when my Welsh history comes not so well. Probably should have done a bit more research. He comes after Owain Glyndwr, which I'll probably do a thing about the princes soon, actually. So he comes after Owain Glyndwr, and many call him the last Prince of Wales. It's a very debatable thing, but however, we're not going to go into that because this isn't about Llywelyn. But I thought I would give you some backstory there. He mainly reigned between 1216 and 1240, like I said. Now, I believe this takes his son is involved in the story. He had two sons, Griffith and David. Griffith was his firstborn, and I believe that this is probably Griffith that is the baby in this picture. However, Griffith was born at 1200, and David was later, and they were known as Griffith ap Llywelyn, and ap means the son of. However, history gets a bit blurry, but we'll just say for now that this is Griffith in the story. So Llywelyn had a castle near Beddgelert, like I said, which I believe is Dinas Emrys. Cause I don't remember a castle in Beddgelert. I'm probably wrong. I probably don't remember a lot of things. However, Dinas Emrys is got quite a few stories. There'll probably be a few stories more to come. There's a few of my favourite folklores come from it. So we'll just say for now that it's the castle of Dinas Emrys, which does not exist anymore, but did exist at one point in the hills of Beddgelert. And Beddgelert lies near a river, so I would think personally it would be there, and also recommend visiting if you can near Carnarvon. It's a beautiful location, stunning, which during this quarantine as it is, I probably would prefer to much be there in the middle of nowhere. But it's probably dated the video now. So, Llywelyn, as any king or prince, he's described as a king in this story, so we'll go with king. Was an avid hunter, and he had a pack of dogs. His favourite dog was Gelert. Now, from the bit of research I've done, I believe Gelert was an Irish wolfhound. Wolfhounds were used a lot back then, but they're quite fast, sort of the greyhound or they're quite agile, and they are the more popular of dogs when told around medieval times. Although there was quite a few other dogs, breeds that were there, but I believe that Gelert was wolfhound. It's stated in some stories, but as anything, there are many multiple stories. So he probably had a pack of wolf hounds, but Gelert was, however, his favourite. Now one day, Llywelyn went for a hunt. He gathered his horses, gathered his men. All was normal. Then just an average pre-hunt, getting things ready, so to speak, until he blew his horn to summon his dogs. Most of his dogs came, then all. However, he noticed Gelert wasn't there. Now, while all this was happening, Llywelyn's son, we'll say Griffith for now, we'll look more into if it was David or Griffith, was left alone. No nanny, no mother. Had been left alone in his room for some bizarre reason. When Gelert heard a noise, he investigated and found, probably going through the story a bit quicker, found that there was a wolf lurking in the castle. He lost the wolf. Once he'd followed his trail, he found him in the room with the young babe. Now, no one was gardening. Once Gelert realised what was happening, he pounced, attacked the wolf. They fought. It was a vicious battle. There was blood everywhere. And this is all going on while Llywelyn was gathering his hunt. He wasn't aware of what was happening in the room of his 1-year-old child until he heard the cry of his child that was said to go through your soul, that went through his soul. As soon as he heard the cry of his child, which is an impressive cry, to be honest with you, if he's in a room through castle, through stone walls, he darted to the room, not knowing why his son was crying, where Gelert was, or what was happening in the room, or the existence of the wolf. Llywelyn burst the door open, only to his horror he found that the room had been ransacked. Mess everywhere, furniture everywhere, broken. And in the middle of the room, where his son's cot was, broken. Wood all over. Did not know what had happened. He couldn't think. He was in a state. Where was his son? What had happened? Mind of the father couldn't concentrate on anything else. Then his eyes focused a pool of red blood right in the middle of the room where his son was. There lay sheets of white cloth that his son lay in, but no sign of his son. He heard a cry, and from underneath But in a fit of rage, he saw Gelert limping, lying next to where the baby was. Not knowing what happened, and instantly thinking that Gelert had attacked his son, he withdrew his sword from his sheath, and with a mighty fury, he cut his sword through Gelert, avenging his son in his mind. Gelert left a yelp with his last dying breath, to which the baby cried once more. Llywelyn frantically looked through the sheets and found his baby son in a pool of blood underneath, still breathing, still alive. However, Gelert drew his last breath. His last breath had woken up his baby boy, his protector. Upon further investigation, he found the wolf on the floor, dead, which was where the pool of blood came from. Realising what he had done, what had happened, he fell to the floor in shock at what he'd done, and the loss of his best friend. When the guard rushed in, he carried Gelert's body out and buried him in what is now called Beddgelert, which is translated from Welsh to Gelert's grave, as I said. He buried him with a rock atop to mark his grave, but lived with the guilt that his best friend had protected his son. But in the blind rage and confusion and the loss, thinking that he'd lost his son, he'd lost his alpha, his leader of his pack. Now, where Gelert is buried is a whole other video, as I believed it was grave, but the stone that is in Beddgelert near the river, however, some say not. This is something I think I want to, as I think I like research, looking into, and a revisit when obviously all of this quarantine thing. But what I think this tale is so relatable, mainly it has a dog. Most people love dogs, but also because of the Gelert sacrifice, that he was looking after a baby boy. There's not much that I believe that I heard of mainly of Llywelyn, but of Llywelyn's sons, as I believe this was near Tudorish times. I have to double check. I know there was a few wars before the uniting of or United. Like I said, this is all going off of my own knowledge. And just sort of like a favourite sort of staple for Welsh lore. Also, I think it's a good one. Yes, it is sad, and yes, it is bloody, but most folklore is actually quite dark, which I think why a lot of like sort of grim stories and stuff. A really good one is to listen to is a show that called Myth and Legends podcast. It goes into all the dark aspects, the aspects of all stories from different places. It's a very good podcast. Wait, actually, I will link in the chat now. Yeah, it's a very good podcast if you want to listen to, and it's one of the podcasts that got me back into doing folklore. There's folklore from all, not just Welsh ones, folklore from all sorts of areas all around the world, from Japan, everywhere. He does his research and it's really good. It's only once a week, but I would definitely recommend listening to Jason, I believe his name is. So there you go. It's linked in the chat. That's where you'll find another good podcast is called We Make Things Fight. Now, they are on Spotify. It's not folklore, but they make things fight. It's very good. They are mainly on Instagram and Spotify. My two friends making various things fight, from Mothman, creatures and stuff. But mainly, I feel like this was an easy myth. I've glossed over it. But I'll probably revisit this with a series of looking into more of what happened, what year was set, some of the facts, some things, whether it was true or not. But, you know, all stories are based on truth. Like all stories and all lies, this has to start somewhere. So, it is intriguing. I think I'll probably delve deeper into that, but this is mainly, so there is on Twitter a account that I accidentally discovered about a year or two or so ago called Folklore Thursday, which I will put that in here as well. And I love what they do. They've gotten much bigger now, which is good. Hopefully they will. But even if you follow the hashtag, it's very, very, very interesting for a Thursday, where the hashtag is Folklore Thursday, and they share a theme every week. But you don't have to do a theme. I have decided to do Welsh folklore, and hence these streams and stuff to go with the artwork, because I believed that it's nice, it's educational, it's sharing stories, it's sharing culture, which at the end of the day it's a very nice thing to do. And I think, like, I'll probably do some Viking ones, possibly. However, main focus will be on which ones. Oh, where did I put my thing? Losing things. It's my heritage. I want to revisit it, and so this week's theme was pets and animals, and I feel it was either going to be the Twch Choice, which is in sort of Culhwch and Olwen in the Mabinogi. I think that's another day. Story for another day. Very interesting story, but for another day, and not so well known. And I felt like going for Gelert was a bit of a cop-out, as most people know Gelert, but I feel like if you go with your familiar, sometimes it's good. And want to explore more where they are, what happened in that year, so to speak. Yeah, just and develop some, just revisit some of the stories that I grew up with and share them. Yes, we could told fairy tales, but I heavily grew up in North Wales, where it's a land of myth, especially near Bala, Llyn. You've got a giant over Barmouth. It's an incredibly rich in culture and stories, and I think sharing them is how they're gonna carry on. And it's like anything, it's more of a pass on, but it's more so just chilled out. So a chilled out thing, sharing stories. There's also an incredible storyteller called Dan Mitchell, who's been doing stuff on Facebook, who's very good to listen to, with Sofa Stage Wales. And yeah, it's more I do want to delve deeper into these tales. I've got Llywed as a drawing as well, but I'll do her story another time. I've got Taliesin, who is one of my favourite stories, and a few dark ones. I think it'd be nice for a chilled out Sunday. A dark Sunday night, possibly. But that was the story Gelert, and I always loved it. And I'm revisiting, like I said, Welsh folklore, so this will probably be told. Oh no, this probably won't be told via this way. We'll probably do it on another format, or a more in-depth, I believe. Also, do it in Welsh when I feel a bit more confident with my Welsh. It's a bit rusty, especially during this quarantine. I'm not speaking it for a while. So yeah, or actually not as often, but that was the story of Gelert, and yeah, I don't know, it's always one of my favourite. I feel like it was an easy cop out. I did go through it quite quickly, but I don't believe it's an easy cop out. I think it's a heartwarming story of how there's always a message to stories and consequences, and I feel like never underestimate what might look. Never underestimate what you got, possibly, until you don't. Also, how amazing dogs are. Because dogs are amazing. And if you have any, feel free to share if you have any stories of your dogs, or things they do. Yeah, this is the story of Gelert. I don't know. It's been on now for about half an hour, an hour. Now. I lost track of time. I decided to go with Grave of the Irish Wolfhound because most Irish Wolfhounds I found more on the greyer side. Greyish white. I'm doing off white on the middle part. Actually, do this. So I'll change this now actually, give me 2 seconds. So I'm going to be doing the story in Welsh now. Will they have Welsh? I don't know. But what I'll do is it's more going to be Beddgelert than Welsh, I will also tell you. Which actually there is a Welsh streamers actually called, let me find it, they're called chweldau, if any of the Welsh speakers are interested. And yeah, they play games in Welsh, probably have better Welsh than I do. Let me just find them for you. They probably got more Welsh. There's probably a lot of people who have better Welsh than I do. But it is here. Where's this technology? How do they spell it? Okay, I can't seem to find them at the moment. Once I find them, I will link them. And yeah, manwch ar so this point on it'll be Welsh, but if you do react, okay. So maen nhw'n chwarae gemau trwy cymraeg, a maen nhw'n yeah, yn gweud handy. And then cael dod yfad dod. Yeah, so fel ni'n neud gynt, Cymraeg fi ddim yn rili dda iawn. Dwi'n yn ymarfer. Dwi yn ymarfer ymarfer yn gwaith yn Caerdydd a siarad efo cwsmeriaid a rhedeg grŵp hefyd o'r enw Ffrydio sy'n Canas, os dwi'n cofio'n iawn. Wedyn nath i dewis lle da ni yn just siarad Cymraeg, cyfarfod am arall Cymraeg, ond gyda'r quarantine a Covid, mae'r ddim cweit wedi cael gymaint o ymarfer a beth swn i'n licio. Ond yeah, dyma di holl y pwynt o'r streams yma. Cymysgedd o Cymraeg a Saesneg. Jyst i cael iaith allan a ymarfer. Ond o'n i yn edrych diwrnod o blaen ar gyfer chwedlau a storïau o'r Mabinogion a storïau fel hyn. Ar YouTube lle fydd yr fideo yma'n mynd fyny. Ond yna llawer yn Saesneg, ond yna rhywbeth pan ti'n clywed stori o lle wyt ti yn dod mewn iaith dy hun. Neu pan dwi'n gwrando ar cerddoriaeth Viking yn genfod rhywun yma'n trad Norwegian. Rhywbeth just neis a almost mystifying neu ysbrydol am rhywbeth yn iaith arall gwahanol na Saesneg. Strwythus i wneud Gelert oherwydd fyddai'n mynd fewn i'r stori mewn eiliad. Yn y holl reswm o'r stori wrthos yma o Gelert yw mae yna account ar Twitter enw Folklore Thursday a maen nhw'n rhoi thema bob wythnos a y thema yma oedd anifeiliaid neu pets. Be ydi pets yn Gymraeg? Pets. A nes i dewi oedd o rhwng y stori o Twch Trwyth sef o Culhwch a Olwen yn y Mabinogion. A ni dim mor cyffyrddus, so to speak, efo stori yna. Dwi'n meddwl, o'n i eisiau beth hawdd, mae'n dweud hawdd, nath dan celf yma cymryd dipyn bach hirach gyda cymylwaidd, ond wythnosau dda nes i gwneud Taliesin a Blodeuwedd a fydd hwnna'n byddai pobl yn gwneud yr un peth a nes i wneud heddiw. Ond just i rhannu storion. A ni'n sbio ar YouTube a llefydd fel hyn fel Twitch a just neis i cael y storiau a fel Gelert yn rhywle arall. Mae pawb yn gwneud pawb, wel, nôl adra y gogledd. Pawb lawr mynd yna efo trip ysgol neu rhyw ffordd. Mae pawb wedi fod yna os ti'n dallt ffynon. A ar ôl just tyfu fyny mewn lle mor ysbrydoliaeth a just llawn o storiau. Dewisais i rhannu nhw. Mae'n gorhannu y culture a iaith ni. Mae'n mwy Wenglish na dim byd. Ond dwi ddim wedi wneud hyn. So rhaid chi excuse yr Wenglish. Erbyn y stori nesaf, byddai'n mynd yn well. Ond, o Gelert hyn o ffefryn fi a dwi eisiau i mainly wneud storiau Cymraeg ar gyfer y thema folklore. Mae'n really helpu fi ail darganfod storiau ffefryn, storiau nes ddim wedi anghofio, ond lle ddim yn cofio. Dwi'n mae pawb yn cofio storiau mewn gwahanol ffyrdd. A mae details yn mynd gwahanol i sut ti'n cofio weithiau. Neu gwahanol, neu ti'n just dim cweit rhywun peth a be wyt ti'n cofio yn dy meddwl sy'n dan arall o pan dwi'n mynd cyn gymaint o versions. Yna pan dwi'n cael storiau yn dod â pobl i gilydd. o trwy celf, o trwy cerddoriaeth, yn ysbrydoliaeth bob man, fel mae dal yn bardd yn gwneud lot o straeon fel clywed mewn sy'n yn cerddoriaeth o. Mae rhywbeth yn dod y pobl i gilydd. Wedyn, rhywbeth neis. Yna, jyst rhywbeth syml. O storiau noson o pobl yn dweud storiau o Cymru, storiau hun, storiau nhw'n wneud fyny, neu jyst rhwng tân, cael diod. Rhywbeth neis o jyst dod at gilydd a cymharu storiau neu storiau ffefryn chi. Ie, mae'n jyst rhywbeth neis. Mae'n dod o pobl i gilydd. Na pam dwi'n mynd i edrych mwy fewn i'r stori beth digwyddodd pam oedd na pa adeg maen nhw fewn blynyddoedd, beth digwyddodd ella ar ôl, neu beth mae pobl yn meddwl. Dwi'n meddwl mae hynna'n rhywbeth neis. Rhywbeth i distractio ni o'r amser. Yma, ella hefyd, sy'n peth drwy gada, dwi'n mynd a weithio ti yna'n rhywbeth drwg yn y byd. Da ni'n gofod fanno, ond dylsa ni ddim cael o cymryd dros y bywyd i gyd. Dwi'n meddwl mae yna straeon yn fel llyfrau, fel rhywbeth yn cymryd ni allan o'r byd, a mae'n weithio brec bach neis. Wel, oedd fel wedi gwneud digon o waffle yna. Mae'n cael dipyn bach mwy o paned. Paned yn ei wneud yn gogledd os mae unrhyw un o'r de yn gwrando, even ddod yn byw yn y de wan. Mae'n bach o dŵr. Dwi'n gesio mae pawb yn siarad Cymraeg nes o'ch chi'n dysgu bod chi gwybod neu yn cyfeillgar gyda Llywelyn lot o'n deud tywysog olaf o Cymru. Oedd o'n byw o 1216 i 1240, sef clast fel medieval ages. A o be dwi bod yn wneud, oedd dipyn bach ymchwil, oedd Llywelyn gyda 2 fab, Griffith ac Dafydd. Mae lot o hyn dwi'n ddim yn gwybod, mae'r stori yma off pen fi, off be dwi'n cofio. Ar ôl edrych, mi roedd Griffith wedi byw o 12 dim. A yn y stori o Gelert, mae Llywelyn gyda mab sy'n dweud bod o'n 1 oed. Felly fysa hwn stori wedi digwydd tua 121 dim un, a dwi'n credu bod Griffith ydi o, ond yn y stori nes i fyny, dweud na brenin oedd o, sef fysa hynna wedi bod yn Dafydd am fod o'n hwyrach pan oedd Llywelyn yn clast fel brenin tywysog, so to speak, os ti'n dach chi'n ddall. Ond ar gyfer jyst y stori yma, ar gyfer heno, da ni'n jyst mynd i dweud na Griffith sy'n y stori am fod Mae yna lot o storiau yn cael ei dweud, lot o versions. Dwi'n credu mae Gelert yn pawb yn abod Gelert, pawb yn abod Llywelyn. Felly ni dweud bod hwn fysa stori dda i ddechrau. Mae yn un o ffefryn stori fi, ond dwi'n meddwl mae hwn yn... Mae pawb yn gwybod stori Gelert yn Beddgelert, ond mae'n neis just gweld holl stori yn chdi weithiau. Felly, da ni yn castell Llywelyn wrth ymyl Beddgelert, sef o be dwi yn credu yw Dinas Emrys neu wrth ymyl Dinas Emrys. Mae Dinas Emrys gyda llawer o storion, a dwi'n meddwl bydd ni yn mynd nôl i Dinas Emrys cweit lot yn y dyfodol. Ond mae hynna yn gyda Llellaw Gyfes, Fortigren, y dau ddraig yn batlo i gilydd. Mae lot o straeon Dinas Emrys, a dyma pan dwi'n credu bod yna. Di'r castell ddim yna ddim mwy, ond hwnna ydy'r castell gosa o beth dwi'n gwybod i Beddgelert. Fel unrhyw brenin neu tywysog, mi roedd Llywelyn yn hoff o hela. Mi roedd gen o pac o cwn, a oedd yn mynd hela gyda ei cwn, ei ci ffefryn, neu'r alfa o pac. Oedd Gelert. Mae yna lot o straeon yn dweud be ydy'r bryd o Gelert, ond dwi'n credu na wolfhound ydy o. A mae yna lot o celf a just... Mi oedd yna mwy o cwn ar gyfer pwrpas rhwng amser yna i cymharu gyda amser yma. Lle mae yna lot o cwn... Mae dal pwrpas nhw, ond dwi'n meddwl fysa Chihuahua ddim wedi byw allan dipyn bach mor hir. Mi oedd cwn ar gyfer hela ar gyfer wneud siŵr bod o'ch ti'n saff a bob dim. A un dydd, wrth i fo paratoi i mynd i hela, mi roedd ei dynion yn barod, y ceffylau, armwr, ei bow and arrows, bob dim yn barod. Wedyn, mi nath o chwarae hwn i cael y cwn i ddod tuag ato. Ond, nid doth Gelert. Ond, tra roedd hyn yn digwydd, mi roedd Gelert yn y castell. Lle clywed sŵn. Diseidio ddo i investigatio be oedd y sŵn wedi dod yma. A be nath o ddod i'r stafell lle roedd mab Llywelyn Griffith ar ben ei hun yn ei cot. Ond, be dagamodd oedd blaidd. A oedd y babi ben ei hun, neb yna, defenceless. Gelert, fel y ci dda oedd o, mi brwydrodd y ddau. Dros yr ystafell. Ffliodd y cot rownd, y dresal, blancedi ymlaen. Mi roedd y lle yn stad, ond tra roedd hyn yn digwydd, criodd y baban allan. A roedd y mor cry na nath Llywelyn clywed y baban yn crio tu allan. Rhedeg iddo fewn. Nath y paternal instincts instantly dod fewn. A nath o'n hofio am Gelert. Oedd o'n rhedeg i'r stafell y babi. Ond be digwyddodd nesa? Oedd o'n gallu ffindio Griffith. Oedd y stafell y mes. Oedd yna pren bo mawn. Pethau boban. Yn ddim baban. Mi edrychodd lle oedd y cot. Y cot ben i lawr. Di malu. A meddwl oedd y gweithaf. Oedd ddim yn gallu clywed y baban ddim mwy. Wedyn, nath i'r llgada dod i'r gwaed oedd around y cot. A'i Gelert ar y llawr yn y gwaed. Dal yn fyw. Just dal yn fyw barely. Heb un eiliad o meddwl. Roedd Llywelyn yn credu bod Gelert wedi atacio ei mab. A gnath o yn eiliad fe fysa nhw rhieni wedi. Oedd o mewn sioc. A be nath oedd? Nath o dod yr claf ei sword allan. Ffrydio trwy ganol Gelert. Gyda nadal diwedd Gelert. A dod o yelp allan. Pan nath o... A gyda ei yelp dwytha. Criodd y baban allan. Dyna pan sylweddolodd Llywelyn bod y baban dal yn fyw. Nath o sbio trwy'r holl blancedi a'r mes oedd yn y llawr. Digon fawr ei mab dal yn fyw, yn saff, ond drwsesau fab oedd blaidd di marw ar y llawn. A dyna pan dagafon ddod a realisio fo na nath Gelert protectio ei fab, bod o wedi lladd y person wrong. Oedd o'n rhy hwyr. Cariad o corff Gelert allan o'r ystafell i byrru, i roed yn y ddaear lle mae Beddgelert a felly enw y dre na wan o Beddgelert. Ei holl fywyd nath o byth anghofio am Gelert a be nath o wneud gyfer ei mab a be digwyddodd fo. Nawr, mae yna lot o storiau Cymraeg yn Cymraeg hen, fel Grym yn Goffan yn cweit drist, ond mae yna lot o bethau i ddeud mewn storiau hefyd. Fel stori'n nysgu bod ella bod dim byd i meddwl o first impression, so to speak. A hefyd i sylweddoli beth ni'n ella lwcus amdan hefyd. Weithio mae'n hawdd i anghofio pethau yn bywyd that are coming for granted. A hefyd, mae'n just going amazing. Ond ie, mae'n hoff stori. Mae'n probably deud y stori nesa'n well. Ond mae'n trio dechrau rhyw series ma o deud stories yn Cymraeg a just cael allan yna a mae'n cael confidence mwy fyny i ddeud storiau a dweud ar enw allan ac mae yna rhywbeth i cer ymlaen i'r generation nesaf, cadw nhw ddew. Ie. Fi fel mae yna neis. Dyna. Dwi'n meddwl hwnna wedi diwedd stori Gelert. Bod o'n hirach na be ni'n meddwl. Dwi'n eisiau gwneud lot o wafflo. Dwi'n ymddiheuro am hynna. Dwi ddim yn cweit mor confident eto, ond gyda amser stori yn mynd yn well a dwi'n meddwl mynd mwy o ymchwil a actually mynd i gweld y llefydd lle mae stori yn dod o. Mynd fyny Beddgelert. Dwi wedi eisiau mynd fyny dinas Emrys eto a Bala a Nant Gwrthyn. Felly dwi'n meddwl mae mwy o stori yn dod fyny, mwy allan o'r lleoliad. Neu lle dwi'n credu mae'r lleoliad yn dod o. A dod mwy ymchwil a road trip, ond ie. Diolch am gwrando. A am y stori Gelert. Chi'n cael wythnos o dda. A bydd wneud yr unig peth wythnos nesaf. Ond ie. Diolch am ddod. Diolch am gwrando. Thank you for listening. We will probably do another story next week. Yeah. Thank you. Nos da. And good night all.